Hi, you're looking at our Houston, Texas lawyers directory, and lawyer sites and real estate sites are probably two of the most competitive for high keyword placement. And we run about 24 lawyer sites and many more real estate sites. So we can tell you from experience that it takes a lot of work to rank high for one of these sites. But first, before we get into that, let's take a look at this site. And if you click over here or on the button, it'll take you in and show you some of the lawyers' specialties that are listed over here on the left side, and people can click through and contact a lawyer specializing in whatever field of law they're interested in over here. And if they did that, then they'd see something like this for criminal defense lawyers. Well, lawyers are paying us to be here. And why are they doing that when almost all the lawyers that we have in all of our sites have their own website? Well, it's really quite simple. And that is because we rank on page 1, and their site usually is no place to be found for at least the first 3 pages of most search engine keyword reports. And they want the traffic. There's nothing better than organic traffic from the search engines for being very targeted and specific, and that's what anybody who wants to make a success, whether it's a lawyer or a real estate broker or anybody selling any product or service on the web, wants. Just to have indiscriminate traffic, to have kids who are looking for music downloads on an architectural site is going to be a total waste of time, to say nothing of bandwidth. So you have to be very targeted. Here's part of a report that we ran on the site. We're just going to show you a brief explanation here on 3 major search engines, Google, MSN, and Yahoo, the 3 largest search engines. We're going to take one phrase. We run these reports about once a month. One of the most popular phrases for lawyers is the name of the city and state and the word lawyers or attorneys. So if we take a look on our Houston site, let's take a look at this right down over here. We have the phrase Houston, Texas lawyers. And you can see here it's in position 1 on page 1. So you can't get much higher than that. And under it, you can see it repeated again because it also appears on page 2 for Google. Now, if we scroll down a little over here on MSN, let's look at the same phrase over here, Houston, Texas lawyers. Again, you can see here it's in position 1, page 1. And finally, if we scroll down to Yahoo and we look for Houston, Texas lawyers, you see it right over here. Again, page 1, position 1, page 1. Okay, so what does all that mean to be on page 1? Well, page 1 means you're getting a multitude of traffic, much more than 2-3 times somebody who's on page 2. It's hard to say the exact number, but that's where all our traffic comes from. So let's take a look over here, and you can see we're doing this almost mid-June. So the traffic so far this month, and this is unique traffic. This is another thing to be aware of. Some people tell you how many hits they had to their site. If you're talking about hits, that's over here, and it means nothing. And anybody who uses that to entice you into getting their product or service is just probably a rip-off artist. But here, if you go back to our last full month in May 2009, you can see we had 2,329 unique visitors. That's one visitor counted in a 24-hour period. So if you would go to our Houston site, it would log your IP address one time. If you went back an hour or 2 later, it wouldn't do that until a 24-hour period. So these are unique visitors, and this is what really counts. And you can see for the last year or so, we've been running well over 2,000 unique visitors per month. And that may not seem like a lot, but you have to remember that these are all targeted visits. We don't advertise on billboards or park benches or radio. We get 100% of this traffic from high keyword placement on the search engines. So these people are looking for Houston, Texas lawyers. So the much higher probability for a good conversion, for the lawyer to get a good client from this than from almost any other type of advertising. And while we're on it, if you look over here, where last month in May we had 29 visitors, you can see the hits for the same period was 58,444. Hits mean nothing. If you have 25 graphics on your first page, when somebody goes there, it'll show 25 hits as each one of those graphic pieces goes. There'll really be only one visitor, but 25 hits, so totally disregard that. And with that said, I just want to go back over here, and here's what it looks like if somebody would do a search. This is Yahoo. We typed in the phrase we showed you before, Houston, Texas lawyers, in here. On the right, it's sponsored listings. People are paying, and usually quite a bit, for each keyword to be placed over here. Every time somebody clicks on one of these, it's deducted from their account. And the same for over here, and you can see it says sponsored listings, the shaded part. Now, Google and some other search engines use this mapping. This changes all the time based on your IP address. It shows you people that are near there. And the most important thing is, if you look up over here, it says this is 1 through 10 of 32,100,000 results for Houston, Texas lawyers. Now, that's not all. That's how many sites there are. It's just that's how many sites show a combination of any one of these words, Houston, Texas, or lawyers. We could refine that a little more by putting quotes around it, but for our purposes, it's good enough right now. And if you come down right under the mapping, if this is 1 through 10, well, number 1 is right here. You can see Houston, Texas Lawyers and Attorneys Directory. That's our site right there. So you can see that when we're telling you something about search engine optimization, we know what we're talking about because the proof is right here. If somebody calls you, I'll leave you with this. If somebody calls you on the phone, and they call many attorneys, many real estate brokers, and it usually goes, well, there's a lot of different ones, something like this. We saw that you're not listed on page 1 for Yuma real estate brokers, let's say. And this is naturally would be a Yuma real estate office they'd be calling. And they don't even check because, you know, they only know there's 10 listed there, and their chances of calling one of them are probably slim. And if so, big deal, they made a mistake. And then they tell you, try and sell you on their services, how they're going to get you on page 1. Most of the time, all they're going to be doing is placing you in the sponsored listings over here, which you can do yourself right through Google or right through Yahoo or MSN, and without paying an extra commission or premium for that. Okay? And besides, what you should be aware of, if any, I don't know one search engine optimization company that's calling people, and we call that spam calling, or sending you spam emails. The companies that are good and know what they're doing have enough business, so they don't have to do that. So keep that in mind. And when somebody gives you a call, the best advice, time-wise and money-wise, is just hang up. Appreciate you listening, and look for our other videos on search engine optimization. Thanks.